Okay, welcome to the coaching chat, and we are on part 3 of a 4-part series on how to move your part-time income and create to a full-time income. And you guys, if you guys are podcast junkies like me, I'm here to tell you this is a great podcast. It's called Your Virtual Upline. That's where I'm getting this information. And when I jump in the car, he's one of the first. His name is, gosh, I can never remember his name. Bob or Bill, Bob Heilig, I think it is. But I loved this podcast that he did. And so I just wanted to bring it back to you. Okay, so part 1 was start with the end in mind. How many of you guys have literally sat down and written out, here's what I want out of my Juice Plus business? All right, so everybody has it. I'm only seeing, and everyone I'm seeing, we got 100%. I see Lisa, Joey, Brenda, and Karen. So all 3 of them have got it written down. So if you've not started with number 1, I want you to literally write it down. Don't let it just roll around in your head. If you guys read that book many, many years ago, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, I think the number 1 of the 7 was start with the end in mind. And so we got to know what we want before we can get it. Number 2 was we talked about creating a plan and literally mapping out that plan and using, we have those awesome sheets that Don Rathman put together at each level of our business. We know exactly what we have to do. And that plan is literally, mapped out. Then we started narrowing it down. So you think big, act small. So we work in very specific way and have a very specific path that we're following when it comes to really building and growing our business. So that was last week. If you missed it, I think that information to me is extremely important. So today, and I'm excited about this because it's really challenging me in some areas. Number 3 is if we want to move from just a part-time income to a full-time thriving income, we have to have systems. And I know you guys hear me say that all the time, but to truly scale ourselves and be able to just build a business beyond our wildest dreams, it does not happen by accident. It doesn't happen by sometimes we feel like working, sometimes we don't. We have to have a system to help us get there. And even, I look at the systems I have in place, and I believe those systems has helped me get to where I am. But I personally have been struggling and actually praying, saying, Lord, what's missing? What do I need that I don't have? Give me wisdom when it comes to scaling my business to even a greater height, to what I have in point 1 on my goals. And like I said in that first week, one of my goals is 10 POB wide with at least 5 national marketing directors direct to me. And so if I'm going to do that, I've got to personally grow. And so I'm doing my best to invest time into books and podcasts and seminars, and kudos to the group that went to Peachtree City Boot Camp. Actually, Peachtree Boot Camp this weekend, we just got filled up with a lot of information. But when the rubber meets the road is, do I have systems in place to really allow me the ability to get to where I want to go? And I have a lot of systems in place, but after I read through his list, I thought there are systems I need to develop and implement in my business if I want to take it to the next level. So let's take a look at, and I want to hear from you guys, but let's take a look. What I did was wrote down the systems he identified, and then I've written down kind of my ideas of the system that needs to be implemented for these areas. But I want to hear from you guys. What I want to hear, here's what I want you to do as you look at each one. There are 8. So I want you to write on a piece of paper 1 through 8. And then as we talk about them, I want you to give yourself a grade of 1 to 10. I meant to roll out the percentages so I could say, okay, if you have, you know, this number, here's what percentage you are. I wish I had 10 up there. That way make it easy. But anyway, so I want you to give yourself a grade 1 to 10. 1 meaning, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about a system of this for this. And 10 meaning I have a system, it's written down, and I use it on a daily basis. So that's your 1 to 10. All right, first thing is time management. And I'm here to say I work this business a lot, a good bit. But when it comes to really, am I managing my time? I am here to confess that I waste a lot of time. Now, it's all good stuff. I love talking to the people in this business, this community. So sometimes I get, you know me, I'm a talker. But I really, this year, have literally set off timers. I had surgery done on my arm last Thursday. And my alarm went off at 11 o'clock because that's when I have a power hour to reach out to prospects. The doctor is literally stitching up my arm. He said, is that an alarm going off at 11? And I said, it is. I looked at the nurse. I said, would you mind turning that off? I told her where my phone is. He goes, what's your alarm for? Oh my gosh. When I said, you know what, I don't want to concentrate on what you're doing, so please forgive me, but I'm going to tell you all about what I do. Told him all about it. This is a total side note, but you know, all last week I just kept sending out that Mela, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but that awesome call on lupus. Well, anyway, I tell him all about Juice Plus. He looked at me, told him about all the research, told him about it's just food, but it's amazing, the power of nutrition. He looked at me and he goes, have you ever had any of your customers have systemic lupus? Which is exactly what Karen and I mentioned Karen's name and Rose's name. And I said, oh my gosh, yes. He said one of his nurses has a 16-year-old daughter who literally, it's taken her life away. She's just really dealing and battling with it. So Karen, I may be reaching out to you. But anyway, that it's so weird, but me really trying to implement this new system of a power hour in the morning and a power hour in the afternoon may end up working into, at a minimum, hopefully a really good customer and helping this young girl out at a maximum, because don't you know, he is a plastic surgeon, you know, a dermatologist, but a surgeon. And I said, oh my gosh, I said, you probably want to learn more about this too. I said, one of our studies coming down the pike is on anti-aging, because I could tell he had some work done. So anyway, I will keep you posted. But okay, I had to throw that story in. Okay, back to time management. Those, for me personally, those 2 power hours during the day really ensure that I am working toward my goals, because I do not let myself do anything in that hour in the morning but to connect with prospects, and an hour in the afternoon to connect with customers. And you may be saying, why so much time to connect with customers? I'm here to tell you that's how they will turn into distributors or refer customers and distributors to you. So if you are not connecting with your customers, you are missing out. All right, so I'm going to zip through these a little quicker, but if you've got other systems that I am not mentioning in these areas, I want you to write them down, and then I want to hear from you guys. The goal achievement. These are directly from Bob, his list of things that say, if you want to scale your business to the next level, you better have a system for each one of these areas. So goal achievements. How are you going to hit your goals if you don't know what they are? So everybody, here's your challenge. You better have that worksheet. If you've been on these calls, you know what I'm talking about. The worksheet, the level worksheet, you know, what do they call those? Anybody know? Anyway, that worksheet that Don Rathman created for every level in our company, where at whatever your next level is, I'm challenging you to have that in a plastic sleeve, all filled out, knowing what you have to do, that there's no questions what you have to do to get there. All right, let's go over to the next box to the right, prospecting. Whether you're old school and you just got a piece of paper, a memory jogger that you are tracking with names, or you're using Teamsy or Trello, back to one of my favorite sayings that Scott Mason says, systems are a dime a dozen, but if you want to be successful, you better have them. And especially in this tracking the prospects, capturing people you've talked to, like he's already in my Teamsy, this doctor, and he's on my list to pop up to make sure that I run some more information over to him. Or if it's a spreadsheet, I'm forgetting. I think it's Shelley uses a spreadsheet in Excel. It really doesn't matter how beautiful or how basic is, are you using a system to track your prospects and know who you need to talk to? Here's one I really haven't thought management, I haven't thought much about, but thought management, thinking about how you're going to keep building and growing your business. And what I have started doing lately, and it's working, is at the first of the week, I go to that recordings Facebook group and I find a video and I use it like crazy that week when I'm talking to customers, to prospects, to distributors. One, it grows me because it's new information going into my head. Two, it's like, if you're feeling like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to say, or I don't know who to talk to, when you've got a tool, it instantly you've got ideas. Oh my gosh, I need to send this to this person. I need to send it to this person. I mean, you know, what happens is names start popping in your head and verbiage starts coming out because you've just listened to it personally. So I want to hear from you guys of some other ideas in this thought management category, but that's the first thing that came to mind, that's something new I've been doing, but it's a system that I really want to implement and am trying to implement, and it's working. Okay, box number 3 there, customer acquisition. You know, for many months or years, we used our hot hands list, which I know Karen is very faithful to use that. And some of us use Teamsy. I use actually a hot hands list within Teamsy. So I've got tagged the people I'm currently in conversation with, instead of just kind of waiting for them to roll around and then not roll around again for a month or whatever. Those people who are hot, I have them tagged in a hot hands group. So that's my first go-to to make sure I've connected with them. So how are you tracking your customer acquisition? How are you tracking those people you're working on, trying to bring them on board? Do you know when's the last time you talked to somebody and what was said? All right, team building, same thing. I have a tagged group of about 25 people, and that's one of the things we did at Peachtree City Boot Camp is there were like 11 of us, and we huddled down in a corner and we listed 25 people that we want to bring onto our team, and that we gave ourselves until conference to connect with all 25 of them. And there's $100 reward out there for everyone who connects and talks about somehow, some way, inviting that person to take a look at the business between now and the end of March. So I'll throw it out to you guys too. So it was really fascinating. Then we really got talking about how do you then reach out to those people maybe that you haven't connected with in 20 years, if they're on their list. The very first person is one of my brother's girlfriends. I hadn't seen her since my wedding and really probably haven't talked to her. So team building, actually, I think I was thinking when I was writing this, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about developing team. But either way, bringing team on or developing team, we've got to have a system. And so I use Teamzy for that. And then once I bring them on, I think getting people on this coaching chat is huge because they're going to be learning the basics. The other thing is utilizing our team website to take them through those first 4 boxes to launch them strong. And I know they've really ramped up the Freedom Revolution. So I'm going to really be taking a look at Freedom Revolution and probably pulling some of that stuff into our team website, but just trying to keep our team website really shut down and bare bones so that it's not overwhelming. But those are two systems that you can plug people into and yourself into. And then the last box, leadership development. I just want to do a shout out to both Sandy Dial and Sandy Horn. Who else is in Brave Leaders? Precious. Well, I know Precious has gone through it. Brenda obviously has gone through it.
Stacia's in it right now.
Precious is in it right now. Okay.
Stacia. No, Stacia.
Okay. Kudos to Stacia. Anybody who's gone through it or is currently in it, you guys, kudos to you because that is an excellent development process. And I also think getting people on this chat. I'm going to challenge you guys too is make sure that you're inviting, before I jumped on here, I literally was sending text messages out to new distributors and other distributors who have indicated they want to really build and grow in 2020. They need to be on these calls. This gets me focused and it gets me really fired up about the week. So there's 2 systems to really develop and grow. And then lastly, accountability. And here's a question for you as we open up the call after this. Is this coaching chat giving you enough accountability? That truly you are, if we go back up to what you've set, you remember last week we talked about the non-negotiables. I'm not going to let a week go by without talking to X amount of people or inviting X amount of people into it. Do you remember we were talking about the non-negotiables? Do you feel like just being a part of this group holds you accountable, or do we need to take that to a whole nother level? And maybe everyone gets a partner who holds them accountable or a 3-man team. So that's a question I'm going to throw out and I want to hear from you guys. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to put us on gallery view. Okay, so let me hear from you guys. So I just named all those systems. Do you guys, but I can't see everyone. I hope y'all wrote them down. How out of 8, let me see how many systems you have identified and you are currently using of the 8. Oh, Jennifer's in Brave Leaders too. Okay. Do you guys have me on mute? Okay, good. Karen, thank you. Karen, you're implementing how of the 8 systems, how many are you implementing?
7.
Ooh. Okay. Which one do you feel like you still have to either create a system or tap into a system?
The goal achievement.
Okay, the goal achievement. All right. I'm going to write down so we can all kind of identify. Hold on, I got to find me a little note. Okay, so the goal achievement or goal achievement. Okay, we'll come back to that, but thank you. That's awesome. Okay, who else?
Elaine, Joey.
Yes.
As you know, up until April last year, Carrie and I were going gangbusters on this.
Yes.
And then we hit with all of that. Right now, we're trying to get back in the saddle, okay?
Okay.
But as of now, we're trying to use number 4, which is the thought management.
So what? Oh, thought management.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do that a lot. We send out recordings and we send out stuff to people who we know who have issues or they have family members there. So we use that a lot. And then actually talking to customers, that we use too. But right now on the others, we're just trying to get back into things, you know.
So do you feel like you have the systems you guys need in place?
Yeah, I think so. It's just that we haven't been utilizing them because of time. And I know it's hard. It's hard for us to say, well, don't you have 2 hours a day? Well, not really when you're a full-time caregiver.
Yeah.
So as of January, we're starting to go back into that process. So
Good.
So that's where we are right now.
So maybe, and I totally get you, for those of you who don't know, Carrie's mom had a stroke and they literally for the last 8 months had to step away from everything and give her care. But here was a conversation, and I don't think Joey minds me sharing this. I hope not. But they literally it was 8 months, wasn't it? Their check.
From May through Christmas Eve.
May through Christmas Eve, their check and business did not drop one bit.
No.
And we sat together and tallied up how much money came into their household, and they weren't able to work their Juice Plus business. That, you guys, is why Juice Plus business is so valuable. Residual income. I mean, we were floored. You were floored when we sat and totaled up how much money came into your household, and you guys really have not been able to work the business hardly at all.
Hardly at all.
That is huge, and a testament to the product that your customers stayed on task, and I didn't see your customer account drop any. So that's kudos to your customers and to you guys for good customer care, that they stayed on track. So
actually, we added customers while we were in the hospital.
Good.
Because we were able to talk to nurses there, you know.
So took advantage of every minute.
What we had, right.
Thank you, Joey. Who else? How many systems of the 8 do you feel like I've got it? They're in workable form. I use them daily. And how many out of 8? And then tell me the ones that you feel like you need a system for.